Poland as the wrist shot from Green missed. It got it right back off the... I misspoke on the road to the D3 final 2 years ago for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. They beat Chelsea and De La Salle in the state tournament. So Chelsea in the quarters, De La Salle in the semis before falling 2-0 to Midland Dow. They also made the D brand new group. But the takeaway is both these teams have been fairly deep in the playoffs fairly recently. For EGR, all the way to the final last year. For Orchard Lake St. Mary's, all the way to the final 2 years ago. Teams that are used to success, and tough to gauge when you look at common opponents. You get to this time of year, you're seeing a lot of cross-regional matchups, obviously, literally in this case. But one of the best teams in West Michigan, maybe the best team that I've seen this year in West Michigan, in Byron Center, they played Orchard Lake St. Mary's to a 2-2 draw at the Kennedy Recreation Center in Trenton last month, and they also beat Orchard Lake St. Mary's by a couple of goals. So that tells you that the Eaglets are as strong of a foe as the Pioneers have faced this year. It'll be the rare color-on-color matchup. How about that? Dark blue and gold for East Grand Rapids, red and white. And that's it for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Look a little like, if you're a college hockey fan, the University of Michigan versus Miami of Ohio. There's the drop of the puck, the old CCHA being revived, at least in look tonight, as the Pioneers will send it in deep. It was deflected, so the Eaglets have to play it from back there. Spinning it out of the corner was Kyle Cavich. Cavich chasing back for it, lost control of the puck. Turned it over there. LeMange getting in behind. So is McKeegan. And LeMange, who has 2 goals in 2 playoff games, he's crushed on the side wall by Charlie Dompierre, the senior defenseman for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. And here they come. The Eaglets directed out through to center. Cavich tipped it from behind center red. That's icing. And that'll stop play and bring the faceoff back down to our left. 34 seconds into period number 1. Patterson Ice Arena is the site. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. 5 o'clock faceoff in the state quarterfinal round. We've already had a Western side team eliminated today, but it was going to be a Western team eliminated either way, as Forest Hills Northern and Eastern, who plays here in this building as well, they lost to Muskegon Reith's Puffer 6-2. That was earlier this afternoon. Stropke gets hammered behind the goal as the Eaglets try to center it out in front. Instead, it'll be forced away to the near side wall. Stropke trying to one-hand it. Couldn't get it past Thaddeus Rainish. Now to the far side. Here are the Pioneers, and clearing it down is Glenn Green. Millman deflected it ahead. He's the hero from the regional semifinal round. He wears a Captain C on his chest. But now pivoting back, Jacob Fetter for St. Mary's. The Eaglets have a couple of players from Eastern Europe, born in Eastern Europe. Jakub Kirkhab, their leading scorer and point man from Poland, as the wrist shot from Green missed. It got it right back off the end boards, and he pumped it wide of the goal, and it deflects all the way back out to center ice. Will Keene, by the way, the junior, is the goaltender for Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and it's once again the senior, Joe Green, for East Grand Rapids. But anyway, it's Kirkhab and then Luka Pivic from Slovenia, and here comes Kirkhab on cue, turning, does a spin, dropped it back to the point. Awkward pass for Hughes to handle, and the Pioneers have it in control. Ross fires it up the far side. It'll be redirected in deep off the stick of Nolan Brooks. James Albert is also getting after it. Turned over to Ross, and he put it on goal. That stop was made by Keene 2 minutes into this game. EGR has scored first in each of its first 2 playoff games. I mentioned 5 goals or more in the first 9 games of this 10-game winning streak, then limited to 2 against Catholic Central. But Catholic Central had one of the best defensive units in the state this year. Take it from me, I called most of their games, led by their senior goalie Trent Goheen. But now we'll see what the Eaglets have in store on the defensive side as the wrist shot comes from out high. Missed the goal from Jacob Hughes, the sophomore defender for the Eaglets. You see all those students lined up behind the East Grand Rapids goal. Rushmore, big-time assist man from the back end, ladles it ahead onto McKeegan, pulls up in the corner. Ian McKeegan shooting, and a glove save by Keene. No further play. 14-14 to go in the first. Pretty even play so far for the two sides. Again, I'm Matt Geica. Welcome to the broadcast on the NFHS Network. Hoping for clean Ethernet today. This building can be a little bit shaky when it comes to that, so if you see some frames dropped or some hesitation on the stream, that's most likely a tech concern. Nothing we can do about that, but like I said, hoping and praying. If you are a praying type, I would appreciate that when it comes to the tech today. Fired up in the middle of the ice and out to center ice. And there's Cuff, Henry Cuff, the senior defenseman, ringing it around the boards. It rides up on edge for Julian Sturparo to try to hand off on the side of the net. And where'd that puck end up? On the back of the goal. And that'll be a stoppage in play. East Grand Rapids at 22-5, no ties on the year. Orchard Lake St. Mary's 17-7-3. Both teams won their divisions. The Eaglets play in the MIHL Gold. And the Pioneers in the OK Bomb, where they've now won 3 years in a row in the region. They've made it through. Stropke hands it on ahead, turned over. Here's one of the captains for St. Mary's, Brendan Morgan. Flips it in, Stropke retrieves and sends it all the way back down. No icing here. It was ruled that Sturparo could have touched it, so Julian Sturparo has to rev it up from behind his net. Pulling up and chipping it down the wood. Flipped in by Kyle Cavich. He heads off for a change as McIntosh controls for East Grand Rapids. Around the far side to Bennett Winkle. Winkle gets it right back there on the give and go. Now hands it up ahead. Wrist shot, score! 1-0 East Grand Rapids. And it's Albers upstairs. 13-16 to go in the first. How about that shot? And it was a give and go with Winkle. The rifle into the top shelf past Keene. And this crowd is alive and jumping. East Grand Rapids has the first 3 shots on goal here. This is the start the Pioneers dreamed of. James's dad is standing right next to me on press row, and folks are looking back to him, giving him the thumbs up. Winkle gets the assist. McKeegan rips a pass on the far wing side. Carrying it there is Hoekstra. Got around a man. Hoekstra centering right under the stick of LeMange on the doorstep. And the Eaglets come the other way. Tossed in behind Joe Green, who hasn't had to make a save yet. One of the Pioneers went down behind the goal, shrugs his shoulders toward the referee. No call. Yeah, the partisan crowd, you know they wanted one here. LeMange couldn't push it out. Be picked up by Charlie Roberts and punched out of the zone by LeMange and company. All the way down it goes. Will it go far enough for icing? It'll stop just short of the goal line with 12:28 to go in the first period. And that's an icing against St. Mary's. So again, it's Albers, his 16th of the year. Winkle gets the assist. That's his 20th, even strength goal. With 14:10 to go in the first period, EGR is on the board. Now here we go as it's plucked free from the middle to Oliver Owen, but he couldn't make anything happen. Wrist shot high off the shoulder of Green from Thaddeus Rainish, freshman defenseman. He got a lot on that shot, did Thaddeus, but couldn't get it by Green. Right to the net, and Green makes that save, this time on Jacob Hughes, who's been active early on. And these Eaglets D like to shoot. You can tell right away as Millman will gun it in and get off for a change. Quick change is the order of the day right now. Well, in the playoffs especially. but particularly early in games. And the deflected pass across from Hughes ends up over the top of the Eaglets bench. That'll lead to a neutral zone face-off. So a couple of quick shots now for the team that is the home team but feels like the visiting team in Orchard Lake St. Mary's. This is a long trip for a quarterfinal, I'll say that much. But on the other hand, the Eastern teams do have the semis and the finals in their backyard down in Plymouth. So guess it all evens out in that way. On the near side, Kirkcab trying to swat it toward the front on the backhand, and he whiffed on that. So to be picked up by Cuff. He hammers it up and out. Down it goes. It'll be right on net, so the goaltender Keen's going to have to hold and eventually play it off. Worked out, even if it looked a little awkward at the time. Sturparo lost control of it. Centering, Ross shot, glove save. And a good one from Keene to keep it 1-0. Brady Ross scored in the region semi against Big Rapids. That was the real thriller. Well, they were both thrillers, but that one was a heart stopper at Southside, just south of Grand Rapids. EGR led 4-0, but needed overtime to win in that. Scotty Millman scored his second goal of the game in overtime on a breakaway, his second breakaway of the overtime. McIntosh a shot after the face-off win. And last year for EGR, they had to come back with a late third period goal and then an overtime goal to beat Houghton in the semifinal as McIntosh jumps back and swats that away from the front of the net. Kavich was lurking for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. LeMange pushed it up the wall. Out the center it goes. Taken on there by Sturparo. Gave it away to LeMange. Fired it all the way across. McKeegan, the pull-up move. Lost control of it as it drifted off his stick. LeMange will take it back, and the errant pass. McIntosh wasn't looking for it, but LeMange will bump Morgan off the biscuit. And McIntosh doubles back. Angle pass. Finds LeMange. Looks up ahead. He's got McKeegan in over the line. McKeegan the shot. Glove save again by Keene. And again, he will not try to push the pace. 10:33 left in the first period. So each of these teams has had to go through overtime already in these playoffs. And right off the bat, Western Pinckney was the opponent that Orchard Lake St. Mary's dispatched in the regional semifinal in sudden death. From behind the goal, Green pushed it up to the far wing. Owen back to the point. Stropke shooting, and off the stick of Keene. It deflects to the near side wall. 10 to go, roughly, in the first period. Deliberately out through to center. Rainish again gave it away to Stropke and the Pioneers. Here is Millman. Slows it down, fed it to the front, and Keene hangs on. No drama there. If you're joining us late, James Albers scored on a rush play on an assist from Winkle. And we've seen a few times that East Grand Rapids has been able to be clean coming out of their own end, and that's led to some opportunities, some controlled zone entries. They've done well in that regard early on. They've been pushing back the Eaglets' defense in that way. But now they start with an offensive zone draw, and it's Albers going forward off the face-off. Lost command to Thomas Roberts. Up the boards and out. Davis Rushmore. 22 assists on the year for Davis Rushmore from the blue line. Albers, he's got some speed again. Here he comes, leading in with a backhand, and that was blocked off to the end wall. In behind the goal, shot that in front. Albers went down to a knee, but he couldn't shoot it as the puck handcuffed him. Flipped up over the top of the EGR defense, but McIntosh is back there to take it. Tossed it out to the point. Thomas Roberts bounced it toward the front of the net. Rushmore kicking it along, and Davis Rushmore got it out to center. Junior D-man. Boy, if I'm the EGR coaching staff, I'm loving the idea that he comes back for another season. He controls it from the back end. Hughes burrows into the corner, threw a blind pass across. It'll be taken on by Thomas Roberts toward the middle. McKeegan couldn't clear. Picked up, dropped off. Hughes looking, shooting. LeMange was right in the shooting lane, and he blocked it. But now Roberts toward the front of the net. Bouncing around, still available. Charlie Roberts here. On the give off. Couldn't get it through cleanly to R.J. Gallus. And tossed out to the point, but gloved down by Thomas Roberts. Best shift so far for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. LeMange with 8:48 to go in the first period. Takes a look, tried to bounce a pass off the boards to McKeegan. It'll go all the way into the corner. McKeegan wipes out his man, Hughes. Long shift for Hughes. Kirkcab, the man out of Poland, lost control of it. Cuff with a shot. That was a wild deflection from Julian Johnston that missed the goal. Fortunately for Keene, had a lot of pace on it. Kirkab again turned it over at the line, but this time the Pioneers overskate. Julian Johnston up ahead to this near side, and Luka Pivec of Slovenia will dump it deep. Oh, there's a crunching check behind the goal. Cuff took a beating from Kirkab, but out with it come the Pioneers again. Down the far wing, it is Cuff shooting, and he missed the net on the opportunity. That was Stropke who got hit behind the plate, pardon me, as Cuff led the rush. Shooting on the chance down the wing was Kavich, couldn't get it through. In front of the goal, Kirkab, and his shot was blocked. Rebound, slugged wide of the net by Johnston. And the Eaglets are warming to the task suddenly. Turned over, Rister goes behind the goal on the deflected shot from Pivec. Luka Pivec, 25 points on the year. No 30-point players on the Eaglets, but they've got a handful of 20-point men. Centering in front, intercepted by Oliver Owen on the attempted play by Charlie Dompierre, the defenseman. Now Dompierre checks his man on the far side, sending Glenn Green tumbling. Play continues back down to our right. Bud Morgan fended off. Play got a little too physical there in the middle. He backed out, and that's offside against Orchard Lake St. Mary's. We go up and down the rink here at Patterson. 7:10 to go in the first. Shots are 7-2 for East Grand Rapids, and we'll face it off right on the Davenport University logo at center ice. This rink not just the home of 3 high school teams locally, East Grand Rapids, Forest Hills, Northern and Eastern, and Forest Hills Central, but also Davenport University's club squads, varsity squads, banged around the boards by Henry Cuff. He's back there to play it over to the far side, but Owen couldn't get it out. Rister goes wide from the point by Sturparo. Albert's trying to chip it by, coughed it up, and a pad save by Joe Green on Brennan Morgan. Chipped in to the zone by Nolan Brooks of East Grand Rapids. And here's Morgan. He's the shifty one. He plays it up this near side. Alex Connon pinned to the boards by Rushmore. Also LeMange and McKeegan reaching in. It bounces free to McIntosh at the blue line. McIntosh takes a look, shoots it in deep. Dumped away from his net by Will Keene. On it, Charlie Hoekstra. Swings a pass toward the front. McKeegan eventually takes it, knocked down. Play allowed to continue on as LeMange rubs out his man, but the puck comes loose off to Rainish, and he sends it through out to center cleanly. On the rush, Brennan Kelly took the shot. It was blocked. Then he just dumped in. McIntosh couldn't get it by Kelly there at the side of the net. Rushmore creeps in and takes it away and clears, but that's icing against the Pioneers. Just under 6 minutes to go in a fast-paced, energetic first period in the D3 quarterfinal round. And so far, so good with the stream quality, it looks like to me, so happy to hear that. The face-off to Joe Green's right. Green just allowed the 1 goal in the region final win. Seeing the defenders shut down the Cougars' offense for Grand Rapids Catholic Central. Green almost had a 2-on-1 break there, but he left the puck behind, so Cuff has to rifle it in right past Millman at the point. Dugan Kritu makes the play off. It's one of the few players on the lineup who was on the team when they made the run to the final 2 years ago. Wrist shot from the outside. Missed the goal from Sturparo, or pardon me, that was Brendan Kelly rather. Now back to the point. And a shot from Dompierre didn't get through. Plenty of blocks in front of the net from EGR in the first period with 5:18 left. Another icing call. The Pioneers lost 2 consecutive games in early December. Then they reeled off 3 straight shutouts, and eventually, well, they really haven't looked back since then. You take a look at their season schedule. Case of a team catching fire. Albers kicks it ahead. He's already got 1 goal. Rolls down the wall. Albers trying to center, but his line mates weren't quite there yet. Ready for it. Now Ross trying to collect this pass. Instead it bounces off the skate of Charlie Roberts. Around but not out. Kept in there by Rushmore. Played it off the inside of the bench door, I think it was, or maybe the turnbuckle. Either way, it was a strange play. Should be still an offensive zone draw because of that stoppage. Yeah, that door looks a little bit off right now. does not appear to be cleanly flush. So watch out on those clears around the boards on that side of the ice in front of the Orchard Lake St. Mary's bench in this game. Keep that in mind. Off the scramble, Winkle taking, passing to Ross, save made, and it's kicked out on the great stop from Keene. That's his best stop of the night so far. 8th shot for East Grand Rapids, and the rebound went right past Albers on the near side post. LeMange will shovel it ahead, but intercepted by Jack Moran. Little shimmy and a shake, and he's around the edge. He'll shoot in. Rushmore on it first for EGR. Up to Hoekstra to the line and poked forward right past LeMange and right back into the clutches of Connon this time. Or, pardon me, that was Hughes who turned it over. Right to the front of the net. Keene melts it down with some pressure in front. Boy, is there ever some pressure in front. Hoekstra just sent his man Hughes to the ice with a shove, and LeMange is down on all fours getting up. After all that, looks like no penalties to be called from the scrum, although I could be mistaken. They're sending a couple of players. I did speak too soon. Jacob Hughes for Orchard Lake St. Mary's and Charlie Hoekstra for East Grand Rapids. Doesn't appear to affect the play on the ice, though. Thanks to Rob Cuff for running the camera today. Stepping up here for our streaming viewers on the NFHS network. 1-0 East Grand Rapids on a James Albers goal. Very early on in this first period. Stropke couldn't get it through. Millman had it poke checked at the line. Kirk Cobb flipped it up to the far side. A long shot gloved down by Green. And he'll keep a wrister from Luka Pivec. Luka has 3 points in the playoffs. Kirk Cobb has 4. So this line has done some work since the postseason started. From the corner, Julian Johnston. We play 5-on-5. 3:49 to go in the first period. Johnston toward the front, deflected around. Cuff couldn't track it down. Instead it'll be Jakob Kirkhob dishing it in deep. Pivec bumped off the puck. And right on to Owen of East Grand Rapids, but he inadvertently shot it out of play over the glass into the netting. We had someone almost get seriously hurt by a puck at Southside in the region final, so I'm happy to be at a rink that has the netting hanging on the near side because we've got a lot of folks in this building tonight. And even if you're paying the closest of attention, you can still get drilled. Like I said the other night, there's a reason why even goalies who are waiting for the puck get beat sometimes because the puck just moves too fast to track in certain situations. Icing against the Eaglets. So Green will stop it back there. And we'll do it again on the face-off. Down to our left. Albers to do the honors. Well, I spoke too soon. He's booted out, so Brady Ross got to do it. Ross trying to poke it toward the slot there off the scramble. But now Rainish trying to shoot. He was stripped from behind by Albers. Good defensive work as Ross will shuffle it out through center ice. All the way down it goes, and that is an icing, surprisingly. I thought maybe that Dompierre could have played it or did deflect it. Not the case. 3:10 remaining before the intermission. McKeegan at the faceoff circle. 18 goals, 35 points on the year. 35 points leads this squad. He's one behind Scotty Millman in goal scoring, counting the playoffs. Here's the breakout. McKeegan couldn't take the feed from Owen. Or pardon, that was Brooks, rather. Ripped into the zone by LeMange. Dompierre skating it through the neutral zone. Left it behind. LeMange got a stick in there, and he chips it out. In at the blue line, out of the blue line. That's what the coaches are going to be saying in games like this, where the other team can burn you on the counter. Cuff run into by Sturparo, the defenseman, pressuring his opposite number, Stropke. Up the far wing, Brooks, the one touch off to McKeegan, right back to Brooks. Wrist cross corner will Nolan Brooks, the junior, and head off for a line change. Fresh bodies out there for the Pioneers. 2:21 to go in the first. To the outside, Brennan Morgan against Cuff. Morgan tried to chip it to the middle. It was partially blocked and bounced around and swatted wide by Alex Connon on the move for the boys in red. Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Fetter makes the pass, or takes the pass, and whips the shot. Missed the net. Diesel Carrera sent him in. From behind the goal. It'll be Connon turning this way and that. Rainish working against McIntosh. 1:44 left in the period. As everyone's facing the boards, trying to pluck this puck out of the crowd. McIntosh will finally kick it ahead. Puck was rolling, but he did get enough on it to clear through to center ice. D to D, and now Fetter shooting offside. Never mind, wouldn't have counted. With Dugan Cretu ahead of the play by just a little bit. 1:24 remaining. Eight teams remaining in Division III coming into today. Houghton, Sault Ste. Marie, Alpena, Bay Reps, Cranbrook, Kingswood, Gabriel Richard, and these two. And the winner of this game will play either Cranbrook, Kingswood, the Cranes, or Gabriel Richard on Friday at 1:30 at USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth. It's a place a lot of these Pioneers know well from last year's run to the final. All the way around in Cuff with 1.25 minutes to go in the period. Dumped out of the zone by LeMange, deflected ahead. Hoekstra upended on the hip check spectacularly. Dompierre got him down low, looked to be clean, but look out, here come the Eaglets trying to make something happen. Johnston looking to center, and good job by McKeegan. He was run over by Dompierre. Two huge checks from Charlie Dompierre on this shift. The shot goes wide from the left side, and it bounces all the way out and around. Under a minute to go in the first period. We've about seen it all, haven't we, in this first? Physicality picking up suddenly. The Eaglets trying to impose themselves upon the Pioneers. Millman stripped at center. Kirkhab on the dump around. 30 seconds left. McIntosh hard around and out, but taken there by Connon, excuse me. He'll send right back in. Henry Cuff, his pass broken up by Alex Connon. Threw it toward the front. Green, the save. He juggled and held in the glove hand. And Joe Green looks on as we've got some shoving after the whistle. Everyone's standing down to our right. The EGR student section didn't love it, or maybe they do love it. It's hard to tell. Look at the students packed in behind the goal, too. 3-4 deep back there. That is truly standing room only in that part of the rink. 16.2 seconds remaining in the period. And the faceoff will be at the right dot from the EGR perspective. Roberts against Glenn Green. 23 assists to lead the squad. Glenn Green back to his defenseman McIntosh. The puck's deflected near the blue line, and out it comes. 8 seconds to go in the period. Brady Ross confronted by a couple of Eaglets and said he'll just flip it in deep. No problem there, as time will run out on period number 1 in the state quarterfinal. So an early goal, less than 3 minutes into the period, by James Albers. His first of the playoffs, 16th of the into the first intermission. Stay with us from Patterson Ice Arena in Grand Rapids. We'll be back for the second period after this break on the NFHS Network. Second period from Patterson. Here we go. I'm Matt Geica. This is the NFHS Network. Thank you for joining me. Flying solo tonight, but surrounded by, it seems like about 1,000 of my closest friends here, as this place is jumping. East Grand Rapids has the lead. This is their home rink. They get to play in it for the quarterfinal round. McKeegan the shot, and I don't know what that hit. Did that struck the goaltender? I'm not sure. Maybe the outside of the post. What a setup as EGR starts quickly again here in the second period, just like the first, thrown toward the front on the far side, and Hoekstra couldn't guide it past the goaltender Will Keene, who made 7 saves on 8 shots in the first period. The shots are 8-5 officially on the big scoreboard down to our left. Here at Patterson, Orchard Lake St. Mary's attacking the goal to our left now, as Morgan will look to center. Instead, he's stymied there in the corner. Hoekstra trying to take it back for East Grand Rapids. Sliding in as well is Cretu, but he couldn't poke it to a teammate. Swatted out to center by LeMange on the chase. LeMange has scored in both playoff games so far for EGR, but he won't get to it here as Morgan swats it casually out to center. Dumped right back in hard by Reedon McIntosh, the senior co-captain. Big senior class here for EGR. This is the year for them, obviously. Millman looking, firing, and a save by Keene. He was already down on both knees before that shot even came through. He was ready for it. And when you're that tall, as Keene is, you can go down early and get away with it. No doubt about it. These two goalies look very different. Joe Green, meanwhile, at the other end for EGR. He's a smaller guy, more nimble type of goaltender. Not that Keene isn't athletic himself, obviously. As Glenn Green gets in with a hit. You saw Orchard Lake St. Mary's try to pick up the physicality at the end of the first period. We'll see if that continues here early in the second. They got some success from it. Just caused generally more chaos as the Pioneers were killing the Eaglets with their speed early in the first. Cuff gloves it down, hands it off to Albers on the angle play, off the sideboards. Albers trying to take it away from Carrera. Instead, that's turned over, now cleared right into the skates of Albers, who has the only goal in this game. He gave it off to his line mate Ross. Backhand pass, Stropke, handles, feeds, D-to-D over to Cuff. Sends it back in deep. Too strong for Albers to get to, though. Another good shift, though, for East Grand Rapids. Stropke shooting, glove save. Keene saw it the whole way, and he holds on. 14:39 to go in the second. That's the 10th shot for East Grand Rapids. Still 5 on frame for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. OLSM just knocked out Flint Powers Catholic in the region final, sending the defending champs packing in D3 here. Whoever wins this will play Friday afternoon at USA Hockey Arena in the semifinal round. And then the championship game will be next Saturday. So it'll all be over in 7 days' time. Always makes me a little sad this time of year. But the best is still ahead, we think. McKeegan, the one-handed play, but taken back by Jacob Hughes of St. Mary's up the far side. If you're wondering, on the back of the Eaglets jerseys, it just says St. Mary's, where the nameplate usually is. I was all excited because I haven't seen St. Mary's this year and thought there might be some names for my benefit. As Rushmore sends it toward the net on a floating shot, punched over the glass and into the student section. Souvenir time back there. And there was a strong check on this near side wall as well. It wasn't a very physical game for about 10 minutes. That has changed since. Hoekstra was involved in that hit for EGR. Didn't catch who it was for the Eaglets. Coached by Brian Klenow. Chris Newton is the 6th-year head coach of the East Grand Rapids Pioneers. 3rd straight trip to the state tournament for the Nears. Back behind the goal, Jacob Fetter. Around, couldn't get it past Oliver Owen. Owen closes, fires. Oh, that was a good shot, but he just missed on the short side. And back out through to center ice. McIntosh slugs it far wing. Oliver Owen, good pass. Got his man going to the net. It's Millman. Stopped by Will Keene. Got across there, and I think Millman tried to go between the legs. No sail. Carrera couldn't clear. Pioneers coming on, trying to make it a 2-goal lead as Glenn Green pins his man Fetter to the wall, but Fetter flips it up to this near half wall. Moran turned it over. Millman on his backhand. Now he does a pirouette. Feeds it to Green, and he got interfered with from behind. No penalties yet in this game. Not that that was going to be one. Wrister score! Deflected in, but no, they're going to wave it off. Touched by a high stick. Scotty Millman deflected it downward. That's why I think it's probably the proper call here. The shot was coming in high and hot from McIntosh. Millman deflected it, but the deflection was downward, and it still went into the top of the net over the top of Will Keane. So like I said, context clues tell me that it was deflected above the height of the crossbar, which would mean it is a high stick on the puck, and thus no goal. I think that's the right call. Good luck explaining that to, like I mentioned, about 1,000 folks in here, it feels like. So no goal. Timeout taken by Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Interesting move from Coach Klenow. The timeout taken with 13:05 to go in the second period, and he senses his team's getting bombarded right now. So you only get one timeout, but so often you see teams just not take it, and you wonder why. If in doubt, call timeout, maybe, should be the mantra. Because listen, late in games, you can always do some things as a coach and as players to buy a little bit of time if you need it. Some of that gamesmanship, unofficial delay of game. Wow, Will Keane applauding toward the East Grand Rapids bench. Whew. Poking the bear is Will Keane. I don't often see goaltenders do that, though. That's not usually a goalie thing. In this case, Will Keane don't care. All right, here we go. Back down to our left. The timeout's over. Both sides get their breather, and the Eaglets hope they have calmed down a little bit as Ross will send it across. Bennett Winkle on the move. Trying to pull the trigger maybe, but he's going to get around the outside here against Dompierre. Dompierre, a physical defenseman. Now he took down Winkle. Ross on it. Backhand pass. Stropke just barely got to him. Ross comes in to help out, but he couldn't get it by Dompierre. And Stropke will simply toss it right back in. Good play. Here comes Bennett Winkle all the way across. Oh, what a save on Albers. Will Keane made the save of the game with 12:40 left in the second to keep it 1-0. I think that was a blocker save as he came across. And, well, he was doing the talking, and he backed it up, didn't he? Will Keane becoming one of the stars of the show. How about that play by Stropke, by the way? He tossed it quickly off the glass. That sent Winkle in. It was an abbreviated 2-on-1. Honestly, Winkle could have taken the shot too, but I think it was the right move to get it over to Albers, especially because Albers is a right-handed shot. He could one-time that, and he sure did on the forehand side, but denied. He might have thought he had his second of the night. This is good hockey right here as Hoekstra rips the shot, blocked, centered in front, McKeegan, oh, he couldn't put it in. LeMange with a backhand pass to the front, and McKeegan just misfired. Tried to throw it under the crossbar, he threw it over the crossbar. LeMange, the pass to Hoekstra at the half wall. Leads McKeegan behind the goal, stops on the brakes, does Ian McKeegan. Leading point man for East Grand Rapids, shooting, and Keane booted it out. LeMange tried to push it toward the front again. Hoekstra was there. Didn't get through. Hoekstra and LeMange tried to team up. Taking it was Thaddeus Rainish once and twice. Couldn't get it past the blue line. Again, McKeegan flips it back behind the Eaglets net. But here they come. Right up the middle is Hughes. Poke checked beautifully by Scotty Millman. Millman redirected it ahead. That deflection was behind center red, though, and that's an icing against the Pioneers. 11:46 left in the second period. Approaching the midway point of this one. EGR threatening to extend its lead, but it's still just 1-0. Both these teams are battle-tested already this year, so it's not like you can expect one or the other to go away. Certainly not. When you get this far in the playoffs, you're 3 wins from a state championship. Everyone's going to fight to the end, even if it's 5-0. Henry Cuff down to a knee, snaps a pass up ahead, deflected right on goal. Keane's got to play it, and oh my, almost gave it away. Almost had it punched right into his net by Owen. Instead, back come the Eaglets. Little drag move and a centering pass from Johnston never got through. Still, no shots in this period on goal for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Pivek Luka Pivek trying to center that one. That's off a skate. Millman couldn't clear. Back in behind the goal, Julian Johnson, 22 points on the season. Big 18, redirects it behind the goal. Kirk Cobb. Back out to the point. Pivek tried to shoot. Blocked out high. Here's a deflected shot coming from the point by Carrera. Never got through. To the near corner and chipped out by Green. Carrera's going to chase back for it. No need. It's an icing call. 10:43 remaining in the second. So finally a shot on net, as credited by the official scorers here. It took nearly 6 minutes of game action in the second period for OLSM to get one on Joe Green. They've now been outshot in the period 9-1. But again, doesn't matter. Turned over. Backside pass. Roberts gave it away. Picked off by Ross and company. Here comes Brady Ross. Pull-up move. Looking for Rushmore. No, he's going to keep it as Ross shooting off the blocker hand of the goaltender Keenan. Again, out of play on the far side of the ice. Just over the high glass. And another keepsake for one of the students back there. At least I'm assuming they're all students. A lot of costumes back there. See 2 or 3 Willy Wonka outfits. I don't know what that's all about. And a cat in the hat too. And some green. It is the month of March after all. Wow, this East Grand Rapids student section, fan section, they've brought it today for sure. And why not? It's a de facto home game in the state quarters. It doesn't happen a lot. You try to take advantage of it when you can. Turnover in front. Albers a backhand. Stopped by Keene. I think he got a pad on that. Boy, Albers could have 2 or 3 tonight. He's got 1. That one's a big one. Right on goal on the sideboard carom. The clearance by East Grand Rapids that allows Jacob Hughes to set up shop, and he snubbed the pass right into the skates of Brady Ross. Ross filters it below the goal line. Brooks a pass in front, just under the stick of McKeegan. Here comes Cuff for a blast from the bench as he just sprinted on and then hammered it, but wide from the blue line. Lifted out through to center. Kavich couldn't take it. Rushmore. Smooth move to backhand it, but right back into the clutches of Hughes. Roberts now for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. They can't chip it out. Kavich couldn't get it clear. McKeegan and Hoekstra forechecking well. Hoekstra runs off his man Hughes into the wall, and that's an icing call against Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Folks were up in arms. They thought it was a penalty. No, the linesmen had their arms up, not the referees. But try explaining that to someone who's amped up with emotion. 9:15 remaining in the second period. Good to see Sam Putt back there doing the PA. He usually does for East Grand Rapids. I wasn't sure if he was going to be allowed to do it. Backhanded in on net. Keene on the dub shot by Oliver Owen. No trouble there. So here we go again from that same dot. No goals now for over a period's worth of action. Shot, and it was a tricky one from Glenn Green that Keene had to boot away. He reacted to it a bit late. I'm not sure if it changed direction. Weilinga couldn't keep it the point. He's got to hightail it back. Does Weilinga. Brendan Kelly chasing after him. Kelly's going to get to that puck first in the corner. Kelly protecting, spinning, and feeding off of Thaddeus Rainish. And right to the side of the net. Green didn't have to make a save. It bounced off the outside of the goal frame. Still loose. Rainish a shot on the turning move, and it's deflected out of play. I think Millman might have deflected that. Either him or Stropke on the far side. Change for the Pioneers. Change for the Eaglets. As the pace of play slows down a bit, we've had quite a few whistles lately. And the face-off won by the Eaglets. Thrown toward the front by Fetter. Never got through. Again, a block for EGR. They've allowed just one shot on goal in this period. We're halfway through it. Rushmore sending it up the near side hard. Both teams hacking and whacking. Albers will come out of the pack with the puck. He'll lead Ross across the zone, but no. Broken up right there at center, and now it's up for grabs. It'll be backhanded all the way down by Albers. Ross on the chase. Brady Ross run into by Carrera. And it's free for Pivic to try to clear, and he will. Off to Kirkhab. The dump in handled cleanly by Rushmore. Puck rolled on him and a strange bounce off the corner. Oh boy, that could have been bad. But now Carrera from the point, bouncing it in on Green. Made the stop. That's 2 on goal now. That one not too threatening. Drag move and a wrister by Pivic. That went over the crossbar. Not sure if that was deflected. Good pressure now, though, by Orchard Lake St. Mary's to the middle. Johnston, a backhand, didn't get through. Again, the Pioneers protect the house. Here they come, McKeegan with some jump in his legs. Backhanded it, couldn't get it past Carrera, but Winkle will. Winkle centering, but Ross was changing and turned over, but the pass too far for Julian Johnston. Icing against the Eaglets. Thank you for joining us on the NFHS Network, bringing you exclusive coverage, live coverage of this state quarterfinal game. These two teams over the past 6 years have combined for 7 region titles. 4 for EGR, 3 for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. But no state championships over that span for either team. They both made the final over that span. So you could say that playoff cliche of unfinished business, it does apply for both, especially for East Grand Rapids. So many of those players from last year returning this year. Played out through center. Smooth turn from Sturparo to the far wing on that dish for Cretu as he powers his way over the blue line, but lost control. LeMange threw it across the rink. Thought he saw someone, did not. And now some trouble here as Dompierre steps up, and he couldn't get it by Stropke on the first try. Does on the second. A backhand on goal. Green with the easy save. Kelly threw it toward the middle, and Rainish in. He stubbed the shot, and the rebound. I don't know what happened there. It might have gotten blocked. Hard to tell from this angle, but Thaddeus Rainish with 2 good looks. And the play out to the point and a snapshot from Sturparo. He fanned on it. Tried to one-time it across his body, and the Pioneers get the clear. So some nervous moments for East Grand Rapids, but they survived that rush of chances. Morgan down the wall, threw it to the middle. Hoekstra on the back check. He took it away. Charlie Hoekstra from the corner. That puck's rolling on him. Watch out. And Rushmore simply says, well, forget it. I'm just going to fire it all the way down. We'll take the icing. Excuse me, that was Green, not Rushmore. 8, not 3. But Glenn Green, the centerman, playing deep in his own end, just making sure everything was on the up and up, and he will take this face-off. Charlie Roberts booted out of the circle. So R.J. Gallus will take it for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Pass right in front of the net, and that was a bouncing puck, too. Worked out for the Pioneers. Rushmore sends it through. Owen couldn't glove down the re-entry from the Eaglets. Owen, the pass all the way across. Eludes Green on the direct, but not on the bounce off the boards. Green shunted it ahead. Roberts. Good pass behind his back to find R.J. Gallus. Took the wrister. Blocker save by Green with 5.5 to go in the second. Still a 1-0 game. Wild blast from Thomas Roberts. Missed everything. To the far side and a shot coming from Sturparo that was also blocked over to the near side corner. Henry Cuff with a lot of room and some time. Sent it up the middle and chipped it off the stick of Moran and out through to center, fortunately for the Pioneers. In on Green. He elects to keep it moving. McIntosh to Owen. Couldn't deflect it out. Winkle came back. Tried to break it up. Now Charlie Roberts with a look. And a blocker save by Green one more time. Here come the Eaglets in a big way. 5 to go in the period. Cleared past Roberts at the point. And again all the way down. And now the Pioneers are playing with fire. Another icing. And they'll have to defend in their own end again. Now in the latter stages of period number 2. This period mirroring the first, all except for the fact that East didn't get a goal early in the second like they did early in the first. But East Grand Rapids started quick. In fact, Orchard Lake St. Mary's even called a timeout in this period to try to stem the momentum. Looked like it might have worked at least a little bit. Albers on the handoff to Ross. This line's been good today. Ross, the pull-up, trying to go back to Albers, deflected! And it went just wide off the save from Keene. Morgan tips it out through to neutral ice. Back in East Grand Rapids territory, it's sent up ahead, and the Eaglets will take control. Connon, number 9 in red. Connon, shot blocked by Stropke, who was felled by that a bit. Gets back up to his feet. Connon trying to just drive right toward the net, and he lost control of the puck. Hoekstra on the counterattack move for East Grand Rapids. Softly, wide of Keene to the corner. Albers pokes it high off the window. Hoekstra ran his man off. That was Sturparo behind the goal. Cuff gloves this down at center. Good step-up move from Henry Cuff. And again, Hoekstra is in after it. Banging bodies with Diesel Carrera. Ian McKeegan swoops in, as he often does, but that was played away from him by Luka Pivek, and now Pivek takes it at center. The native of Slovenia, working one-on-one against Davis Rushmore. Rushmore protects the puck well with 3:40 left in the second period. Up the far wing now this time. Here comes Owen. Couldn't take it cleanly. Back inside Pioneers real estate. McIntosh fires it down. That is icing. Dompierre, I thought he might have touched it as he stepped up. He took a chance there because otherwise, if that's a live puck, it's going to be trouble for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Just past the 6 o'clock hour. Feels like time stands still in tense games like this, doesn't it? 6 o'clock on a Saturday. Where else would you rather be? Nowhere but here for me, I know that much. Dompierre couldn't shoot toward the net, and that's fended off and punched out through to neutral ice again. Sturparo right on goal with that dump, and Green had to be sharp to take it and hand it off. Dompierre bounces wide from the point as the Pioneers couldn't clear. Sturparo gave it away. And Hoekstra, did he get it out? Pardon me, that was Glenn Green, coughed it up to the middle. Sturparo wristing, and that missed the goal. Thrown right back through the front of the crease again. Hard Karam off the corner boards and out to center ice. Sturparo pivoting here against Millman. Millman pressuring him back. Dompierre the pass up the middle, and good work from the Eaglets to work it through to Pivek. Pivek centering. Johnson shot, saved by Green, maybe his best of this game. Keeping it 1-0 Pioneers. Winkle trying to poke it loose, comes free. Johnston stubbed the shot, it might have been blocked. Johnston again, let it go to Kirkhab, wristing, going down to block that one. On one knee was Green. Kirkhab got it right back, far side, Johnston! Oh, it's off the glass. I don't know if Green got a piece or not, but fantastic pass from Jakob Kirkhab. That type of playmaking, especially valuable at this level, at this time of the year when things get chaotic. Keene almost gave that away to the on-charging Winkle of East Grand Rapids. Instead, Sturparo slows things down, dumped down the ice, and that's another icing against EGR. .158 left in the second. Not nearly the number of rush chances for the Pioneers in the second half of this period compared to the first. They've got to find a way to find some poise when they get it, as Rainish's shot was blocked out high. And out it comes. JT LeMange trying to get around the edge. LeMange with under 2 to go in the second. He's run off by Carrera behind the goal. Fetter calmly off the side wall. Kelly filtering it behind the net. Rainish bumped into by Cuff. LeMange dropped it right back to Cuff. And here are the Pioneers. Stropke leading it up ahead. McKeegan in over the blue line. Thought about dropping it off and said he'll keep it moving north. Back behind the goal, Hoekstra bumped into his man Carrera. Good hit. Millman, can he keep it alive at the point? He can. And it's on to Hoekstra. Toe drag. And he went down. That's a penalty. Our first penalty of the game, called late in the second. 1:16 to go before the intermission. Hoekstra drew it. Carrera took it. Diesel Carrera to the box. It took all this time, but we finally have a power play. tripping minor. EGR has 2 power play goals in these playoffs, but none since the second period of the region semifinal. So it's been essentially 2 full games since their last power play goal. They ended up getting just the 2 opportunities against Grand Rapids Catholic Central in the region final. Millman, Albers, Owen, Rushmore, and McIntosh is your fivesome for head coach Chris Newton. There was some discussion there at the East bench, not sure what about. And the faceoff controlled by Millman, back to the point, just barely held in by Rushmore. He relayed on to McIntosh, to Millman, back to McIntosh. Tried to shoot that was blocked from the bottom edge of the circle. Over there to retrieve Millman. 1 minute to go in the second period. Albers, wristing save by Keene. I don't think he saw it until late, but he did pick it up and snatched it with that black glove. All black equipment for Will Keene, the junior goalie for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. You don't see that too much. It's a distinctive look against the red and the white. Face off from this near side. LeMange will take it. LeMange, McKeegan, Ross, and Green. Your forward foursome for East Grand Rapids now. 54 seconds left in the period. And cleared off the stick of McKeegan. As, watch out, the Eaglets try to push the pace shorthanded. Kyle Kavich looking to make something happen, but ends up coughing it up inside the EGR line. Rushmore with some room, makes the pass, redirected ahead by LeMange. Rushmore chasing in after it. Sturparo couldn't slug it past the on-rushing McKeegan, and now LeMange blocks down this attempted clear. One more time, Sturparo tries to clear around the far side, and a strange bounce gets by Glenn Green. 24 seconds to go before the break. Running out of time for the Pioneers. McKeegan went down in a heap, fell down while trying to pivot to go backwards. Clearing pass up the far side. Green lost control, down to the final 12 seconds. Near side, McKeegan over the line, 8 seconds to go, shooting right through the middle. LeMange couldn't tip it. Green trying to kick it to his stick, unable to do so. Rushmore is just going to back it out, try to shoot it down the ice, and he won't be able to. As the buzzer sounds with 44 seconds still to go. Shores and UD Jesuit against Trenton in Allen Park at the Frank J. Latta Civic Arena. And all the way in D1, we do have a couple of results in. Detroit Catholic Central, the Shamrocks, stay unbeaten in the state of Michigan as they beat the Romeo Bulldogs 7-2. They will play Reith's Puffer, who defeated Forest Hills Northern and Eastern 6-2 earlier today in Big Rapids. Clarkston and Howell, they play at 4 today, or did play at 4 today, so they're a little ahead of us. They might be done. And Brighton beat Livonia Stevenson, so the Brighton Bulldogs are through. Okay, that's your update on the MHSAA brackets, plural, all 3 of them. Still a power play for EGR, but a wrist shot nearly got through from Kyle Kavich, but now blocked down, and LeMange parades back in for EGR. Ripped the shot that was blocked on the way by Julian Sturparo. 29 seconds to go on this power play, the first of the game for either side. Rushmore shooting, blocker save, maybe a stick save by Keene. Will Keene's been great for Orchard Lake St. Mary's, keeping his team within 1, and punched out through to center by the Eaglets. Just 14 seconds to go on the power play. Always tough to get it going coming off the intermission. I think EGR did a pretty good job setting up, but didn't really get a quality chance there. Here's a lead pass, goes behind Green on the deflection. Glenn Green pulls it away from Sturparo and gave it right back to Rushmore. On back to Glenn Green. Stymied at the line. Lifted in by Ross on the backhand. 1 minute into the third period. The winner goes on to Plymouth for Friday's state semifinal round in D3. Pinching up his cuff. Good play. Left it there. Millman to the backhand. Tried to throw it toward the slot. Albers was hiding there, but it never got through to him. Millman, though, closes down the wall. Good job there from Scotty Millman, the 2-goal hero in the regional semifinal. Lost it to Dom Pierre in the Eaglets. Out through center. Rainish kicked it along over to Stropke. He's got Millman between the lines. Scotty Millman puts his shoulder down. Tried to center for Albers. Albers has to go off. Millman left it behind there. Oliver Owens step 2. But he was dispossessed by Jacob Fetter. Skating across the zone comes Brendan Kelly, one of the co-captains. Hands it off now to Cretu. Wristing just missed the goal against Joe Green. Hacked off the back apron of the goal. Not sure that was allowed, but Brendan Kelly just did it and got away with it. Cretu the backhand, out to the point. Snapshot blocked out high on the chance from Carrera. Hoekstra couldn't get by on the outside, though. And here are the Eaglets one more time. Thaddeus Rainish into the Forest. Lost control of the puck. Wrister from Luka Pivek. Just missed the goal from 40 feet away from the side wall. Green reacted late to that one. There was plenty of traffic in front of him. Pivek shoves it down deep into the Pioneers' end. Cuff cracks it around the boards. Hoekstra tied up his man. Pivek has it once more, and his shot was blocked in front. Stropke got in the way of that. Knocked it down with his chest, I think. Hoekstra on the chase for EGR, but Keene gets rid of it, and it's a good pass to boot right onto the tape of Jakob Kirkhab. He feeds it on ahead. Pivek trying to center Johnston, and he couldn't pull it out of the skates of McIntosh. Reed and McIntosh, a good play. Punched wide of goal by Fetter. Up the far side into the EGR bench. That'll keep the face-off in Pioneers real estate with 14:11 left in the third. No goals scored in the second. Just the one in the first from James Albers. Almost exactly 2 periods ago at this point. Might it just take one? EGR has been a good defensive team this year. They allowed just 1.6 per game, and they scored 4.5 coming into this on average. So being held to 1 to this point is also foreign territory for them. But honestly, it's the same deal for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. This is a team that's used to filling the net. When you get to this point, you can't expect to fill the net. That's, I think, what separates a lot of these teams. Can you hold off that instinct to be frustrated when you're used to running rampant? That's the question. And the referees are talking something over at the scorer's area. I don't know what this is all about. Shots on goal are now 21-14 in favor of East Grand Rapids. You can see the refs talking right now on your screen. He handed a piece of paper, the referee did, through to the PA man. No penalties are on the board, so I don't know what that was all about. So we remain at 5-on-5 play. The Eaglets win the face-off. Out to the far wing. Snapshot from Roberts. Patted out by Green. He saw it all the way through. Might have slightly changed direction. Ross bunts it to the middle. Look out, Rushmore. Turned it over. Chance in front. Green poke check. But that's going to be a penalty against McIntosh. As Jack Moran had the opportunity, it was tapped right to him. Moran saying, I want a penalty shot. I don't think you're going to get a penalty shot out of a quick turnover like that in front of the net. But there is the penalty call, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's goes to the advantage with 13:57 to go in the third period, and I'm not sure that McIntosh had much of a choice in the matter. He's called for hooking. First power play of the night for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Johnston at the face-off circle against Green, and they tie up. Rainish pushes it back to the defenseman. Well, Pivek playing the point, I should say. Oh, Owen was spun around. Pivek takes it, fires, scores! It went through a screen and in. Just after Owen spun down, the Pioneers wanted a penalty call. They didn't give it and didn't get it, and Pivek pumped it in from the top of the right circle, maybe just outside the dot, and it's 1-1 with 13:46 to go in regulation. Well, it took them 2 periods plus, but the Eaglets are on the board here in Grand Rapids. Luka Pivek is 9th of the season. And it's a new hockey game. The power play goal ties it up. And I barely saw that. I had to wait to confirm with the referee that he was pointing to the net. I couldn't quite tell if that hit the outside of the net or went in, but it slipped inside the post. Dumped in on Joe Green. So 1 behind Green, 1 behind Keene, and here we go. Unassisted goal ruled to be Rushmore. Didn't know where the puck was. It was drifting right behind him. He saw it at the last second with some help, I think, from his goaltender. Bumped up the near side. Is that going to go far enough for icing? It will not. They ruled that Charlie Dompierre dummied the play, so now Dompierre has to make a dish off to this side. Rainish hacks it out through center ice. Now it's, bouncing right back into Eaglets territory. So Rainish will gain the red line and whistle it in. Rushmore flipped it around the boards. Hoekstra turning it. McKeegan, he had LeMange free at center, but couldn't get the pass through. Players bump, and it's directed right back down to our left. 12:46 to go in the third. We're tied 1-1 in the state quarterfinal round. Tipped ahead by Kyle Cavage. He's after it. Crunched behind the goal by Henry Cuff. Best check of the game for EGR. Millman breaks it up high in the slot, and out it goes. Connon guided it ahead. The EGR student section getting up, getting rowdy. Behind the goal, Cuff run off the puck, put off the stick of the goaltender. Green in front of the net and cleared all the way down. But again, the icing bug is striking EGR. Since about the middle part of the second period, they've iced it. It's got to be close to 10 times now. And the shots are close at the moment. All of a sudden, 21-18. 18 for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. East Grand Rapids got to, I want to say, 18 shots rather quickly in this game. It was before the midway point of regulation. In the second period, they got to 18, just 3 since then. And that's about how this game has looked, too. It's been tilted recently to the middle and flipped away from Alex Connon. Out to center it goes. Good clear from McIntosh, and Reed McIntosh settles the puck. Has a look. Bangs it out to center. Couldn't connect on a pass. Flipped in by Thomas Roberts. Davis Rushmore. What can he do with it? He wanted to go to Owen. Too hot to handle. Turned over. One-time shot blocked. Rebound again. Big save by Green on Pivek to keep it 1-1. Oh, that was a tough play to track for a goaltender. The initial chance was blocked. Then the follow-up right on frame from Pivek from, well, closer from where he scored from, honestly. Pivek, who has 3 goals in the playoffs, was that close to a 4th. But Joe Green said no, and he's got his signature save of the night, just like Will Keene did at that end of the ice in the second period on Albers. So we've seen the goaltending rise to the occasion. Hughes lost control of the puck. He was worried about Ross there out by the point and decided not to play it in the end. Kicked ahead by Cuff. At center, flag down by Kirkhab. Right back in the clutches of Cuff. Played it to himself inadvertently. Albers swats at it. Couldn't get it that deep. And the Eagles try to break it out. Johnston mishandled. Cuff will turn it up ice for East Grand Rapids. 11 minutes to go in the third. Cuff right toward the goal. He drew the penalty. Did Henry Cuff as he took it all the way in. And that'll be an EGR power play now. 11 minutes exactly to go in the third. And I believe that's going to be tripping again. Second tripping penalty against the Eaglets. Jacob Hughes, the sophomore, goes off for what he hopes is 2 minutes. Otherwise, it'll mean East Grand Rapids has taken the lead. EGR led for well over a period. Actually, they led for 2 periods worth of game time, now that I look at it. This is their home rink at Patterson, and it has sounded like it all afternoon and into the evening. 5 o'clock start. LeMange jumps on the loose puck. JT LeMange turned for the sharp angle shot, but he missed. Glenn Green, the top setup man on the Pioneers, makes the play to the corner. Wrister by Rushmore, deflected out high by Connon and over the high glass. Out of play. 20 seconds into the power play. Second power play of the night for East Grand Rapids. LeMange gets the duties from the dot. And he wins that face-off. Well, to be continued. Yes, he does win it. He ends up getting the puck himself over on the side wall. To Green. Back to LeMange in close quarters. Back to Green. Has a look. 10.5 to go in the third. Green holding, getting away from Connon, making the pass off to Ross. Ross across. Rushmore open, shooting. He scores! The goaltender got knocked down. It might have been by his own man, though. And Davis Rushmore has put the Pioneers ahead with 10:17 to go in the third. All of a sudden, the goaltender, Keene, went down, and the entire left side of the net was wide open. And Rushmore roofed it just for good measure. Davis Rushmore is 5th of the year, 2nd of the playoffs, and there's no video review in high school hockey. If it's not waved off immediately, it's not going to be waved off. It's 2-1. Dueling power play goals here in the third. But it doesn't get any easier for EGR. Now they've got to hold on for the final 10-17. Of course, ideally, you don't hold on. That's always the goal, right? To try to extend the lead, and easier said than done, though. Human nature takes over. And sometimes you get cautious. And Orchard Lake St. Mary's, well, they don't have to take huge chances now, but they've got to start thinking about taking chances. They got to start thinking about being more aggressive now as they trail. They trailed coming into the period. They tied it up, and now they're back behind again, are the Eaglets. And what do they have in them as they play it back? Carrera shooting, deflected off of a Pioneer in front. Might have been Cuff who blocked that. Cuff drew the penalty that led to the go-ahead goal. Carrera's shot blocked by Millman. They're trying to get it ahead to him. They angle it ahead. Good play there by Owen to get it to Millman, but Carrera recovered. Just for a fleeting moment, it looked like there might be a chance for a breakaway, but it didn't come to fruition. The Eaglets just backtracked well enough to force it into a 2-on-2 rush. McKeegan with a takeaway. And from inside the blue line, he'll shoot in. 9:19 to go in the third period. One power play goal for Orchard Lake St. Mary's, one power play goal for East Grand Rapids, and we're back with a Pioneers 1-goal lead. LeMange in on the forecheck. Puck tied up, pushed out to the point, and pushed out of the zone by Pivek. Boy, he's a man possessed in the third period. He got in over the blue, and now he's got to back it out. Does Luka Pivek, the native of Slovenia. Lost control of it. Rushmore hammered it out. And Rushmore steps up as it'll be shot in by Hoekstra. He'll go off for a line change as he gains center red. 8.5 to go in the third. We're halfway through the final period of regulation time. Ducking to the outside, Jacob Hughes. Good speed for him. Hughes turns the corner. And the shot blocked by Cuff, bouncing to the side of the net. Julian Johnston, one of the top guns for the Eaglets. Couldn't make a play. It'll be Winkle, and Winkle slides it out to neutral ice, and we have a penalty behind the play. Is it a penalty against Orchard Lake St. Mary's? I think it is. Cross-checking against Johnston. I didn't see it. It was behind the play after the puck was cleared. And East Grand Rapids gets a third man advantage of the game. 8:13 remaining. That's the first sign of frustration from Orchard Lake St. Mary's. The power play is 1 for 2, and it's a big one at this moment. J.T. LeMange, the alternate captain. Again, a face-off win for EGR, but Rushmore couldn't kick it to his stick. He's got to retreat. He's got 2 men on him. If he makes the play, he can get it past him, but he threw it right back into the possession of the Eaglets, but they turn it right back over. Ross on the chip in charge. Down the wall. Back in behind the net. It'll be Steparo trying to clear up this near side, and he finds an avenue to get it all the way 200 feet down the ice. 1:30 remaining on the power play. Julian Johnston in the penalty box for cross-checking for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Hard pass far side, too hard to be handled by McKeegan. And the Pioneers have to start again. And no stick there. Watch out, Joe Green. Well, he tried to play the shell game with it for a moment. Now McKeegan turns it right by Ross at the far side, icing the call against East Grand Rapids with 7:20 left. Some frantic moments. Player without a stick. That was tough. And that ensured that EGR couldn't get its ducks in a row. Not sure if that stick was broken or just dropped. Either way, it leads to a face-off in Pioneers territory. 1:07 remaining on the Johnston minor for cross-checking. It's been a special teams kind of period all of a sudden, after basically all even strength early on. Another icing against EGR. You can't win the race to the puck at this level, so Hoekstra, he was there, but it didn't matter. Millman at the face-off dot against Kyle Cavett. Cavett's one of the few players who was on that team that made it to the final 2 years ago that's on the ice here for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. He's pressuring Millman. Millman under some duress, but he did make a sharp play off to Albers. On the exchange with Hoekstra. He dumps it around. Back there's Keene. Hands it off. Good job by Owen at the point to keep it alive. Millman tries to hook it in front, deflected around, and bouncing wide of the goal. Albers to the corner with Hoekstra. And Charlie Hoekstra has it. Looks to make a pass. Now he'll leave it behind the net inadvertently. Millman couldn't take it. Bunted by McIntosh up the boards. Hoekstra came loose nearly to Albers. At the point, McIntosh is wiped out. And another penalty called against Orchard Lake St. Mary's. I thought that was not going to be whistled, but it was with 13 seconds left on the initial minor. Guess what? The Eaglets are going to be short by 2 men. Connon called for what I'm pretty sure is going to be interference. And now I wonder if Coach Newton on the Pioneers bench decides to take a timeout to talk things over. 6:25 to go in the third. And the penalty is piling up for St. Mary's. Looks like no timeout to be taken. It'll be a 5-on-3 for 13 seconds. The face-off, so crucial here. And it comes loose to the Eaglets, and they clear. That was a big moment in this game. Charlie Dompierre wired it out of the zone. Boy, did he ever. That was the hardest clear of his life in terms of velocity. Green pushing it down the left wing. Back to a 5-on-4. But again, another power play for East Grand Rapids. Their 4th of the night. McKeegan spun around, made the pass down low. Dompierre blocked that feed from below the goal line by Green. Out to the point. Rushmore took the wrister, deflected well off the rink, out of play, as Brendan Morgan got his twig in the way. 5:52 left in the third period. East Grand Rapids by a goal. Davis Rushmore put him ahead. Just about 5 minutes ago in terms of game time. So the 5-on-3 ran out. It's a 5-on-4 for EGR. Off the tie-up. Shot by LeMange. Save made by Keene. That was a tricky one. LeMange threw it low along the ice, and Keene equal to the task. One more PPG could punch the ticket to Plymouth for East Grand Rapids. Orchard Lake St. Mary's got to worry about the kill, and then they got to go to work after that if they do survive it. Green wanted to throw it in front, but thought better of it as the play was defended well in the crease. Rushmore to the corner. Lively bounce off those end boards. LeMange pushed off it. Losing control are the Pioneers, and cleared around and out just barely. That bounce was interesting, right to the middle of the ice. It looked like it was going to go around to this near side. McKeegan thought he held it briefly for a moment, but it was just beyond the blue. 1 minute to go on the penalty to Alex Connon for interference at center ice for checking a player who didn't have the puck. Millman wins it, but back down into East Grand Rapids real estate. So McIntosh got a chase. Gives it off to Owen. And right back to McIntosh behind the goal. Strong forechecking pressure by Orchard Lake St. Mary's. As you'd imagine right now, they're trying to make something happen. But that means if you do move the puck well, you might be able to get behind it. McIntosh, again with 2 men right there. Oliver Owen, 30 seconds remaining on the power play. Owen, last man back. That puck was rolling on him a little bit. Owen threw it right through the skates of the pressuring Cretu and turned it over to Morgan. But he lost it to Owen. Owen trying to get it going, and he will. It's going to be a 2-on-2 rush here. Over the line. Hoekstra chipped it to himself, made the pass. It was a good one to Millman, but he just wasn't ready for it. And it caroms out through to neutral ice. Cuff. Cleared it across. Stropke. Good feed to Millman. Poked it into open ice. Millman keeps going. Deflects and stays in play off the short glass. But the Pioneers are changing behind the play, and the power play is over. So EGR is 1 for 4. They don't score on those back-to-back power play opportunities. Cutting in. Kavich! Oh, my. Threw it just wide from the slot. Cuff clears it around and out, and it won't be strong enough for an icing because, well, the ice is getting a little bit chippy in front of the benches on the far side. That was the saving grace that time for the Pioneers. Stropke from just over the red line. Fed it in deep. Carrera up the far side for the Eaglets. Stropke steps up. Gave it right back to the boys in red. Turning play by Kirkab. He's got a lot of skill out of Poland. Leading scorer for the Eaglets this season. Try to make a pass behind the goal, but it's fumbled there and turned over. The high toss down by, I believe that was Green. It was, and that's whistled for an icing with 3:32 to go in the third period. East Grand Rapids still has its timeout. Orchard Lake St. Mary's does not. Coach Klanow decided to call it in the second period with his team on the ropes. And for a while, it really did do its intended job. Not saying it was the only reason why, but I liked the call then, and I still like it now for St. Mary's. Flipped out through over the blue line by JT LeMange, Then McKeegan stumbled down, trying to push it further. 3:18 left to go in regulation. Errant pass from Sturparo hit the back of Korkab at center ice and redirected ahead inadvertently. Joe Green thinking about pouncing on it and said Rushmore flies in there right in front of the net. Couldn't clear. Davis Rushmore's power play goal has the Pioneers ahead 2-1. LeMange, good pass. McKeegan tipping it ahead. He's got Hoekstra. It's a 2-on-2 rush. Made it a pass across. Hoekstra pulled down from behind. Another penalty coming up against Orchard Lake St. Mary's with 2:48 left. Hoekstra was behind the defense, and he might have had a clean shot if he wasn't yanked down from behind, but he was. And make it a fifth power play and a fourth power play in this period. Sturparo felt like he had no choice but to lay the lumber on Hoekstra from behind. And now do you talk timeout before the power play. And, as it turns out, Chris Newton will call it. Like I said, 2:48 to play. Recapping the score, it won't take too long. James Albers scored 3 minutes into period number 1 off a give and go with Bennett Winkle. He roofed it from the bottom edge of the right face-off circle down to our left. It was 1-0 Pioneers. Then in the second period, 2 huge saves from Will Keene to keep things at 1-0, including one on Albers on the one-timer that comes to mind immediately. In the third, suddenly it's become a special teams kind of game as Orchard Lake St. Mary's scored with 13:17 to go in the period and maybe in the game on a wrist shot through traffic from Luka Pivek, the Slovenian, scoring his 9th of the year, 3rd of the playoffs on the power play to tie at 1-1. But then 3.5 minutes later, Davis Rushmore connected as the goaltender Keene fell down. Rushmore from the inner edge of the left circle rifled it into the top left corner for a 2-1 East Grand Rapids lead. Since then, EGR's had a couple of power plays. They have not been able to come up with an insurance goal, but they'll get a third opportunity since the power play goal to again cash in on the man advantage. And if nothing else, kill time and get it down to 48 seconds. Rushmore shot it, blocked, came right back to him, shot it again, and he just missed. That appeared ticketed for the top right corner this time. Back out to the line, bouncing shot from McKeegan, who's playing the point, couldn't get it on target. And Morgan guides this out to center and beyond for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Rushmore, the pass, good one to McKeegan, led him beautifully. Now LeMange takes it off his skate. Clutch play there from JT LeMange, lost control of the puck though. Turned it over to Kyle Kavich. Coming back in with Morgan. Morgan to the outside. Remember, Orchard Lake shorthanded. Green gloved it down, lost control of the puck. It ends up on the end wall. 2:11 to go in the third. EGR in clear possession. Rushmore the pass. LeMange on the near side to Glenn Green, who shoots it around. And I wonder, what will the Eaglets do in terms of their goaltender? But right now they don't have to worry about it. They have the puck on the rush chance. To the outside, Sturparo handed it off to Kelly for a shot and a stop by Green. He held the short side post. Brendan Kelly, he's got 2 goals in the playoffs. Out of his 6 total, he's been clutch, but that time denied. And again, no timeouts remaining for either side. 1:47 left in the third. And I'll keep an eye on that clock. There's only one here down to my left. So it'll be Albers at the dot. Late change for East Grand Rapids. They are the visiting team in this game, technically. So they're asked to change first in this scenario on a stoppage. And the referees and the linesmen are ready. Hope you are too. Albers at the dot against Kelly. And Albers and the Pioneers push it to the near side boards. Anything away from the net is okay with them. Albers behind the net. Surfs to his right. Coughed it up, though, at the blue line. Banged right back in deep. Oliver Owen there. Overskated it. Still loose. 1:28 to go in the third. Up the wall. Hoekstra couldn't clear. Poked past him, but stepping up to make the play was Owen. And down it goes toward the icing line. Is it going to make it? It will by a few feet. That was close. 1:16 remaining. It's still a power play for EGR, but the circumstances right now dictating that it's not going to feel like it. With St. Mary's pressing bodies up, they don't care if they give up a breakaway. They're trying to create something. The goaltender, Will Keene, is still in net, though, surprisingly, with 1:16 to go. Maybe they're just waiting for the power play to be over. Right on net, Green made the save on the friendly fire shot, inadvertently played there by the Pioneers. Cavage to the outside. Nifty moves, but lost control of the puck. Back to the point. Dumped in by Dompierre and around. 14 seconds to go on the penalty. We spent a lot of time looking down to our right during this power play. Final minute of play. Connon shooting it in. The power play is over. Back there, Davis Rushmore reverses it to McIntosh. Clears up the far side. Not out yet. Here it's toward the empty net. And wide of the goal. Well, Matt Keegan went for the clincher as the goaltender came off. Unbeknownst to me, I was focused down to my right. So Keene is off. It's an extra attacker for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Again, no timeouts remaining. So McKeegan went for the potential third goal. St. Mary's making a change. We've had a couple of late changes lately. And their coach, Brian Klenow, is having a word with the referee. Well, now we can get back to it. 6-on-5. Here we go. McKeegan against Cavage at the dot. McKeegan goes down to a knee, tries to punch it out. It's free, and the slide back in and toward the crease and wide of Cavage. He tries to turn it toward the front of the net. That was blocked down. Shot the length by Strupke, and another icing as he missed it to the right. Cavich and Pivec almost connected there. Pivec, number 25 on this near side. Watch out for him. They might be setting him up for some sort of a one-timer. The lefty on the right side. Jakob Korkab also out there. It was Pivec who scored the goal earlier in this period to tie it up 1-1, very early in this period. Answered by Rushmore's PPG. Final 27 seconds of the state quarterfinal. Glenn Green, can he clear? He will. It's out through the center. Owen with an empty net. Scores! Oliver Owen banked it in off the left post for an empty netter with 19 seconds to go. And East Grand Rapids is going to go back to Plymouth for the state semifinal round for the second consecutive year. They lead by 2 here on their home rink, and they're drinking it in right now. Owen, I believe it was Hoekstra, if I can remember, who poked it ahead to center. If that was the case, Hoekstra will get the key assist on the even strength empty netter for EGR. Off the draw. Slammed to the near side boards. And the Eaglets need a miracle. They're probably not going to get it. This will go the length. Icing whistled. Dompierre back to wait for it, and he figured that was his only chance to hope for an icing, and he got the call. Oliver Owen, his first goal of the playoffs, 18th of the year for Double O. And the chant is, na-na-na-na, hey, goodbye, down to our right. It was a long trip for a quarterfinal game for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. The Eaglets were certainly game, but they're going to come up short here. Off the tie-up, cleared to the wall by Albers. He flips it down,